Okay, let's turn to another of our special stories and newsmakers. Environmental activist from Ladakh, award-winning, is in jail, remember, for the last week, detained under the National Security Act, accused of triggering the protests that turned violent in Ladakh on September 24th. Today, Sonam Wangchuk's wife, Gitanjali Angmo, moved the Supreme Court asking that a habeas corpus petition be filed under Article 32, challenging his detention under the National Security Act and seeking his immediate release. In a petition, Angmo claims that she has had no contact with her husband for the last week, calling it a violation of rules and of his constitutional rights. He's been arrested, remember, and taken to a Jodhpur jail. She says she has not received a copy of the detention order, has no information on the grounds of detention. Only yesterday, she had written to President Draupadi Murmu. Now she's taken her case to the Supreme Court. She's my next newsmaker. And joining me now is another of our newsmakers tonight. Gitanjali Angmo is Sonam Wangchuk's wife. She's also the co-founder of the Himalayan Institute of Alternatives in Ladakh. Appreciate you joining us, Gitanjali. You've gone and knocked on the door of the Supreme Court today, a week after your husband Sonam Wangchuk was detained, arrested under the National Security Act. Why do you believe that his detention, his arrest is illegal under the NSA?
Yeah, so thank you, Rajdeep. His detention is illegal because he is in no way a threat to national security. He is a person who has worked very closely with the Indian Army. He has worked at the grassroots level for innovation. He has always represented India abroad with pride, be it through his ice stupa artificial glaciers or his passive solar heated buildings. So such a person who has dedicated and devoted his life to the cause of education, environment, sustainability in India, in Ladakh, cannot ever be a threat for national security, especially when this very government has awarded our institute with the best in innovation for passive solar homes, Scotch Award for the ice stupa artificial glaciers, for our work in Himalayan farm stays, in ecotourism. So how can the same person who, along with me as the co-founder, how can this person suddenly turn into being an anti-national, when he was being awarded not less than a year or two ago?
Because the government, Gitanjali, says that it was Sonam Wangchuk whose provocative speeches led to the violence that took place, in which eventually, tragically, 4 people died, that he in some way was responsible for provoking that violence. Your response to that, the violence that took place on the 24th of September?
So first of all, he immediately condemned the violence, and he said that my peaceful method of protesting has failed, and he called off his fast. And secondly, a person who has worked all his life for the upliftment of youth, for empowering them with education, with knowledge, cannot ever provoke them to go on a path which he never himself believes in. We've seen in the last 5 years that he has done all his anshans and fasts and padyatras and marches in an extremely peaceful manner. So a teacher, and he considered himself a good teacher above everything else, because he has declined a lot of offers from all the political parties who wanted him to run for various positions, because he wanted to always hold himself as a teacher first. So a teacher always walks the path. If a teacher is talking about non-violence, he would never instigate violence or ask the youth to follow that path which he himself never believes in.
So you're saying So you're saying all the allegations that are being made about Sonam having a Pakistan link, the allegations that are being made that Sonam Wangchuk in some way was encouraging seditious behavior are all hogwash. Is that what you're saying? That you're challenging the government in this Supreme Court petition to prove that there is a Pakistan link, if at all, to Sonam Wangchuk? Because the DG in Ladakh tried to bring out a Pakistan link to the protests.
Yes, absolutely. I have stood firm in condemning all these allegations as being absolutely baseless and as a propaganda and a narrative to frame him. And it is not, it is now that it has intensified, but this witch hunt began about 4 years ago, when first our application of FCRA was not allowed to go through, then our application at the UGC was not allowed to go through, then all the PSUs that fund us for our capex requirements for buildings through their CSR have told us that they have received calls from the MHA to not support us. Some of them withdrew at the last moment before signing of the MOU. And then there were a lot of other witch hunting strategies, especially in the last 1 month. And I have not done anything else but answer all the CBI probes and fact finding, as they call it, and all the IT summons and all of that. I've been just busy doing that for the last 1 month. And before that was the land that was, unilaterally they said has been escheated back to the government, even though the delay was on their side, that they did not have a lease policy to be signed. So all this witch hunt had started. And this arm twisting.
So are you telling me, Gitanjali, when you use words like witch hunt, are you telling me that the cancellation of your FCRA license, the income tax probe, the CBI probe has only started after Sonam Wangchuk took an aggressive position against the center, demanding 6th schedule status for Ladakh? Until then, the same Modi government was giving you various awards for what you were doing in the field of environment, in the field of education. You're telling me there's a link between political activism started by Sonam and these probes against you. Am I correct?
Yes, it is correct, because this has only started so that we can be stopped from doing, and he can be stopped from working for the 6th schedule. So there is a clear link between these two, because the Intelligence Bureau used to visit me very regularly when about 2 years ago, when he went for his fast for the first time. So they have been visiting our office and visiting us, visiting me, and asking all kinds of questions, but they could not get anything. They have access to all our financial documents. 99.9% of all our transactions are online through checks, through net banking. So there is no question of anything which is not transparent. We have been filing our returns with the ROC of companies and all of that. So because they did not find anything amiss, so the only thing that was left was this NSA, because it is this draconian act which does not need you to explain.
So can I ask you in conclusion, it's a week since he was arrested under NSA. Have you got a copy of the detention order? Do you know what the condition of Sonam Wangchuk is? Have you been given any information or any access to him at all?
No, that is why I waited for 5 days. So first of all, they had told me that as soon as he is flown down to Jodhpur Central Jail, the officer would speak to me and make me speak to Sonam. But that did not happen last Friday. And then I waited for 5 days to get a copy of the detention order, and it did not happen. And therefore, day before yesterday, I wrote this representation to the President of India with a copy to the Prime Minister, Home Minister, Law Minister, LG of Ladakh, as well as the DC of Ladakh. And even after 1 day of that, there was no reply from any of them. And therefore, yesterday I had to file habeas corpus with the Supreme Court of India.
So you have no idea of his condition, his health. You have no idea of exactly how he is keeping. Am I correct? You have been completely cut off from him for the last week. A quick answer.
Exactly. So I have no access to him. I have no access to his information. I have no access to his situation, to his condition, and to anything about him.
Okay. I'm going to leave it with this there, Gitanjali. I will wait. We will continue to track this story. We will continue to see what happens in Sonam Wangchuk's case. Someone who was feted with various awards, including by the government of India, today is detained and arrested under the National Security Act. What changed? Well, that's for the government to answer. Gitanjali, for joining me there, appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rajdeep. Thank you.